Okay, textbook, page 264, practice now 21. I want you to look at question 1b. No need you to do. But tell me, how is this question different from all the questions that we've done in class today? It's in radian. So let us just practice finding the range of half x plus pi over 6. I just want you to do your step, what step was it? I think 3 or 4, I can't remember. Find the range of half x plus pi over 6. Do it in your textbook right now. Is there a need to change? I'm just finding range, I'm not doing the trigo yet. Okay? So the question says that x is between 0 and 2 pi. So practice now quickly. Pi over 6, okay? What is the largest value of half x plus pi over 6? How much? How much is this? Seven pi over 6. Do you all agree? Any issues with this? Yes? The 7 pi over 6, is it? Okay. What is the largest value of x? 2 pi. What is the largest value of half x? What is the largest value of half x plus pi over 6? Pi plus, which is? So now you know the range. But the issue with radian, when we use a lot of pi, because 180 degrees is actually pi radian, we end up seeing a lot of these as the range. Are you able to really visualize and understand how much is pi over 6? Do you really know what is this value? So if you don't know, right, press calculator. Then you get an understanding of how much that is. So pi over 6 is roughly how much? No, I mean the value. Don't change to degrees anymore. You're in radian, you stick to radian. Type in your calculator, pi over 6. 0.523 blah blah blah. Okay, what about this value over here? 7 pi over 6. 3.6651. Okay, then just leave it like this, okay? So in other words, our range is now rewritten as 0.523, and on the other side we've got 3.665. Yeah, it's not a big range, numerically wise lah. So what is the advantage of leaving it in this manner versus leaving it like this? Half x plus pi over 6, 7 pi over 6 to pi over 6. Okay, what is the advantage for the one that is boxed up? Subsequently, when you add all your 360, when you add all your 360s everywhere, you minus 360 everywhere. In this case, for radian, we'll be adding 2 pi. You add 2 pi, add 4 pi, add 6 pi. So sometimes you will need to press calculator to figure out, hey, does it still fall within the range? So you need numbers to be able to help you understand whether they fall in the range or not. Then the advantage of having it in this pi form is that it is the exact value. Okay? So you need to be comfortable with both. You need to be able to use both. Can? Yes. Sorry? Alpha is in degree. In this question, is alpha in degree? No, you generate your alpha yourself. Okay. He has a very good point. You see in the question, it says that tangent half x plus pi over 6 is equals to 0.479. So let alpha be equals to 0.479. And what do you have for alpha? Really? All press calculator now, what do you have for alpha? Darius? Oh, sorry. This one is let tangent alpha. Let tangent alpha be 0.479. So what is alpha? What? Oh, 25. 25 point? Like this? Oh, okay. So do I leave it like this? Okay. Do I leave it like this? You sure? Do I leave it like this? Degrees, is it? Okay, yeah, we can say that this is in degrees. But are we working in degrees? No, we are not working in degrees. Change this to radian. You have two choices. You go and take 180 degrees equal to pi radian. Then you go and take 25.5944 degrees equal to how many radian? You can choose to do this. Or you just take your calculator, you switch to radian mode. Do you know how to switch your calculator to radian mode? It's not pi plus. So I don't want you all to go and do the conversion. Use the calculator. Change your calculator to radian mode. Okay, so 44670. Okay, just leave it like this, okay? Now, is this angle in radian or degree? Radian. How you know? Because your calculator, you are already in radian mode. And then when you write it over here, you don't write any units because it is already in radian mode. That's why I get so upset when I see people write equals to alpha equals to, for example, 70.62. I don't think the alpha value, right, will be 70.62 radian. Most likely this student is trying to say 70.62 degrees, right? Because all your alphas are your basic angles, they are acute. Has to range from 0 to 90 degrees or from 0 to pi over 2. Well, 70.62 is definitely not within 0 to pi over 2 because pi is already 3.14. Half of pi is going to be 1 point something. How can we have 70? So if you have a degree, better write a degree. Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk about for practice now 21. So every single type of this question you can do already. Just need to know whether it's in degrees or radian mode. Next part. Sometimes we see Trigo equations in the case of work example 22. Okay, read the question now. Find all angles between. So do we include 0 and 360? This we don't, because they say between. Which, wait. But they say inclusive. Now do we include? 0 to 360 inclusive. So we include now. Which satisfies the equation sine x cosine x minus 120 degrees equals to 0. Okay, I've got a Trigo ratio over here, sine x, multiplied by another Trigo ratio, cosine x minus 120 degrees. And this is supposed to be equal to 0. What does this tell you about these two factors? Because can you see that they are multiplied to each other? Yes. Right? Multiply, right? So what can you tell me about sine x? One of them is 0. Remember all your basics, in your algebra, we learned that when we have things like x minus 3, x plus 5 equals to 0, it tells us that either x minus 3 equals to 0 or x plus 5 equals to 0. Therefore, x equals to 3 or x equals to negative 5. Remember this? Wait. Since I'm talking about this, right, I think there are some students who just ignore this step and then they go straight to this answer, which is fine. But if you do this thinking that, I just need to write down x over here, and then I flip the sign. Then I write down the x, and then I flip the sign. Then you'll be correct. If this is what is going through your mind, then you're in trouble, because when it comes to Trigo, I see how you flip sign. You can flip sign or not? Any sign to flip? Nothing to flip. So you better know what you are doing. Every time, every step in maths, there is a reason. So this flip sign came about because of this intermediate step. Something equal to 0, one of them must be equal to 0. So we're going to apply this over here. So first one, what do we have as equal to 0? Sine x equals to 0 or what is that? Sine x minus 120 degrees equals to 0. Okay? Now, For the first one, sine x equal to 0. Which quadrant? Right, that's how we always do it, right? Which quadrant? Sine x equals to 0. Which quadrant? How do you know? A, S, T, C. Remember what does your A, S, T, C tell you? Positive or negative, right? Is 0 positive or negative number? Is 0 a positive number? It is not a positive number. Is it a negative number? It's also not a positive number. So, which quadrant does it lie in? The answer is, it doesn't fall in any of these quadrants. So, for this style of question, we will need to use our graph to solve it, which is not difficult. Sketch a sine graph. Let me show you. Sine x equals 0, right? So, sketch the sine graph. Like this. Right? Or we can go the other way also. The range is 0 to 360. So x from 0 to 360 degrees. Now this is the graph of y equals to sine x up to 360 degrees. So which are the values, which are the angles that result in sine x being equal to 0? Do you remember how to do this graphically? Sine x equals to 0. We plot two graphs. We plot y equals to sine x, or rather we sketch, as well as, what's the other graph? Excellent, y equals to 0. Where's the line y equals to 0? The x-axis. So where are how many intersection points do you see? First one, what is this value? 0. What is the second value? 180. What's the third value? 360. Is it difficult? No, you can key into your calculator right now. Sine 0, you get 0. Sine 180, you get 0. Sine 360, you get 0. So based on the first portion, based on the first one, we get over here x equals to 0, 180, and 360 degrees. Okay? First part, 3 answers already. Then we have a second portion. This one over here, cosine x minus 120 equals to 0. So cosine x minus 120 equals 0. Which quadrant? Can do or cannot do? Can do or cannot do? Cosine x minus 120 equals to 0. Are you able to tell me which quadrant it is? Again, cannot. So must draw graph. What graph do I draw? Cosine. Do you want to draw cosine x minus 120 or you want to draw cosine theta? Yeah, because cosine x minus 120 is very difficult to draw. Let's draw cosine theta. Let us have this to be equal to theta. So I'm going to draw the graph of cosine theta now. This is theta. This is y. Now cosine theta is equal to 0. How many intersection points do you see for cosine theta, y equal to cosine theta as well as y equal to 0? 2 points. 1 point over here, 1 point over here. What is this value? This is 180 in the middle. Okay, 90 degrees and 270 degrees. Okay, so now from here, from the graph, because I'm going to erase it, not enough space. Now I tell that, hey, theta, which is actually equal to x minus 120. X minus 120, I don't know why they are disappearing, is x minus 120 is equal to, what did we say it was? 90 or, comma, 270 degrees. So these are the two values that I have. Do I need to plus 360 to them? Are you sure? See, our x is from 0 to 360. So our x minus 120 is from negative 120 to 360 minus 240. Okay, so you need to do all your plus minus 360 to find out whether all the answers are captured in your steps. Okay? Isn't it 270 cannot accept? You are right. This one we reject. So that is why writing down the range is important. And then can I okay, hang on. From these two values, Chen is right that we have to reject 270 already because it falls outside the 240 degrees. Now we have to consider minus 360 on this side, then we fall outside of the range, right? So ignore. But 270 we can still minus 360 because it is periodic. Although the value 270 is not in my range already, there is the other side. We go minus 360, we get negative 90 degrees. Is negative 90 within the range? Yes, so I need to include negative 90 over here. Okay? So now x minus 120 also gives me negative 90 and 90. So now we evaluate, therefore x is going to be equal to 120 minus 90 as well as 120 plus 90. Correct? Because we say, you look, x is negative 90 as well as 90, right? Let me clear this up. We established that x minus 120 is negative 90 and 90. So therefore, x is going to be plus 120 to this side, plus 120 to this side, and we get two more answers to be 30 and 210. So how many answers do we have altogether? 5. 0, 0 over here, 360, 180, 210, 360. 5 answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Tedious? Yes, April, what's your question? Can already, Okay, although this is tedious, looks like many steps, because got one question branch out to become two separate equations. Is it manageable? Is the explanation alright with you? Okay, then we can try already. We can try. Practice now. 22, question 1.